This is interesting. I wanted to talk about this. Zimbabwe begs white farmers to return as nation teeters on brink of man-made starvation. There's several layers to this that we have to think about. First layer is obviously be careful what you wish for. But you have to remember the average Zimbabwe person didn't beg white farmers to leave. This is very orchestrated, and it's orchestrated in a way where people want to be like, let him starve, fuck him, all this stuff. Where it's like they asked for it, now let them pay for it. Think about how little control you have in your government right now in America. Most people are like that. There's an elite few, many of them have extremely small hats, that orchestrate these racial divides and start these the problem that the Zimbabwe farmers did is they took the ticket of wrath and pride and envy and all that stuff. I get it. Be careful what you wish for. Same shit's happening in South Africa. But a lot of these people, their whole day is just trying to get water. No, you made your bed, now lay in it. Right, I get that. But the people that are starving, a lot of them had zero say in anything. Okay, let's say we invade Syria right now. And we are just actively like, no, please, not another war. And then the rest of the world, just because of the way the media shows it to us, say, and then they start bombing your babies and your kids, their school, and says, you bombed our school. Now you lay in your bed. That's the thing that you have to really think about. Trust me, I'm all about punishment. I like Duterte. I get it. But it's like the bloodthirsty nature of revenge when you're dealing with constructs like Zimbabwe and Rhodesia and all this stuff. It's like the average person has nothing to do with it. And I'm not saying to send them money or philanthropy or any of that shit, because most of it just gets hoarded by warlords anyway, or it's just a way for grabblers to look like they aren't. Disgusting. But I was looking at this and I was really thinking about it, because my first instinct was let them starve. If you don't, but it's the language that really threw me, where it's begs white farm, because I already know white's a construct, and some people are gonna bitch and rant and screech. I get it. White is made up. There is no history of white. There is no food of the whites. There's Scottish people. There's Irish people. There's British. There's Anglo-Saxons, Aryans, Germans, Germanic, Italian, Russians. There's no similarities between Russians and Scottish people. And if you want to wipe it all and make it all bleached, bromated, homogenized, pasteurized, burnt fucking milk, you go ahead. I'm not doing that. It's not because I'm a cuck. It's because I know how grabblers and social engineers work. I know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get people to mock the starving and say, you deserve it. When the average Zimbabwe child or family had nothing to do with any of it. Because what you cast, you will, what you reap, you will sow. And if you point your finger at these people right now and say, starve, nigger, starve. You deserve it. That's what happens when you kick out whites. You starve, you deserve it. You might as well be saying it to yourself in 20 years. Because that's going to happen here. And when that happens and you see that the media has painted a picture that the big red, white, and blue, it's like they thought they could take over the world. You're doing it to yourself. Every time. Those babies deserve to be alive. And the more you see it, the more you understand. We make our own bread. This is my family yesterday. That's all from scratch. Not only is it homemade bread, a lot of the ingredients are from our garden and from our, we use goat milk and our own eggs and all that stuff. And it's we have so much. Let me show you something about scarcity. This really blew my mind. Okay, that's from 3 days, right? That's 3 days of Nigerian dwarf milk goats. On 2 acres. We have more acres, but our total usage of land is 2 acres. We can feed a family of 4 plus way more. To the point where we have so much milk now that we're making our own soap with the milk. We get 20 eggs a day, 30 eggs a day. All of our root vegetables, our waters from our land, It's like all of our spices. It's like, and I've planted 40 trees that haven't even started producing yet. We're talking apples, pears, plums, almonds, walnuts, all of it, olives. There is no scarcity. There's no scarcity. It's a lie. The whole concept, this Zimbabwe thing really struck me because, okay, look at this. So it's like, Zimbabwe begs white farmers to return as nation teeters on brink of man-made starvation. They're just starving these people. There's plenty of land. Guys, I'm retarded on 2 acres. It's the first year I've ever done any of this stuff. This is what my fridge was this morning. This is in the winter with no sun. There's no sun where I live right now. That sunlight doesn't go above the trees in the day. I'm so far north. Like, I'm way north. And it's like, there's plenty. Forced scarcity is another trick by the grab whores and the Freemasons. There is no scarcity of anything. 2 acres can feed like 100 people. I swear to God, it's nuts. Just our chicken coop, the amount of protein. Love your enemies. Exactly. This is one of those situations where it's like, love your enemies, because those people aren't wicked. They're social engineered. And yes, a lot of sub-Saharan Africans have lower IQs, like statistically. So some of them, and by the way, that's not even a shot at them, because a lot of them, I probably relate more to a Zimbabwe homesteader than I do a high IQ urban sodomite. I do. But very trickable people when it comes to the ways of the grab whore. So they did the same thing to Russian serfs and Ukrainian serfs. They got them to hate their own farmers. This thing really affected me today. Like, because it's so devious. Me 6 months ago would have been like, let them starve. That's what you get for kicking out the high production farmers. That's exactly what they did in Ukraine. They got the serfs, these unsophisticated people, to turn on their own establishment, to turn on the czar. And they did it in Russia. They did it with all the kulaks and all that. And then they starve them. And they say, you asked for it. And they're like, but you told us, let them starve. Hey, man, the same thing will be said about you. Trust me. That'll happen to you, man.